Hey, this is my name's Thomas Kuisel. I'm a freshman at Clemson, and I'm a computer science major. And I just did the new student dialogue today on December 12th. That was on the privilege of youth, and it was a pretty interesting dialogue. They started us off. We had to introduce ourselves to everybody. Like 30 minutes was spent just like getting settled in, and then we started asking each other about when we thought everyone should be considered an adult, like what age that is. So most people were saying like 18 was around the age where they think people were adults, and yeah, that's also what I believe is that you should be 18, and we had a good bit of diversity there. There's actually some older people that were like 30, and like there's a girl that was like 25 there, so a broad group of people there, and everyone was pretty active in the dialogue. Um, Pretty much everyone in the room had something to say, and no one was really being any reserved at all. There was some pretty good discussion, and it wasn't like awkward at all for any point of the dialogue. And they divided us up into groups after we introduced ourselves and talked about what we thought the legal age should be to be an adult in the United States, and we had to play like a matching game where you dealt with like certain ages and what they meant in some countries. And we learned about how like in some countries you had to be like 30 to vote, and then like in some countries you could like drink beer when you're 16. And you'd realize that it was like different everywhere, and it raised our awareness about that. And then we got back together as a big group and we talked about what we just did. And then we had filled out a thing called, it was like a personal information like wheel, and you had to talk about how like what your ethnicity was, your like all the background information, like anything that made you unique, like what country you were from, your age, things like that. And then we had to make like a pie chart that showed like what the significance of that aspect was in your life, like how much that meant to you, and how much each thing like the role that it had in your life. And I personally thought that the things that affected me the most in my life were the fact that I'm from the United States, because I mean we live in a country of great privilege, and if I had grew up in like Kenya or another country, my life would be a lot different. And then I also said my age is a huge impact, or has a huge impact on who I am, because my mindset is that of a general college kid, and I'm sure as I get older I'll have like a different outlook on life. It's like a certain thing. And then everything else that we had to write down about was like our spirituality, like our ethnicity, and like our gender. And our spirituality, like I'm an atheist, so religion doesn't really have a big part of my life. I don't really care about any of that. And then I don't really think that ethnicity should have a role in anyone's life, and I know it does like affect people's lives, and racism is present, but it shouldn't, and it doesn't have a role in my life at all, and it shouldn't affect other people's either. And also, gender doesn't really have a big influence in who I am. I think that like, I don't know, you can't really discriminate people based on gender. Like there's certain things that guys and girls are like particularly better at, but just you can't really discriminate, and I believe that people should be equal, and that's why it doesn't really shape my life at all. And most people agreed with me besides on every point except for religion. A lot of people were really like devout Catholics or devout Christians, and I mean that's fine. I don't really care about that. They can do whatever they want. And besides that, we agreed on everything that about like their roles in our lives. We all agreed that it's very privileged to come from the United States, and that also that how big of an impact age had. So then we started talking about how age would shape, or how the legal age of 18 in America, how it shapes us, and what it's like in other countries. And I think we all decided that 18 was the right age, that it's the correct age to like drink and anything, just because the fact that you can be sent off to war and stuff here, that was a big talking point. And everyone was talking about how they had a point to say about that. How if you're old enough to be sent off to war to fight for the country, you should be old enough to have a beer too. And we all are able to agree upon that. We also thought that the voting age should be raised, because there's a lot of people that are uneducated about voting that vote. And then after that discussion, we pretty much concluded the dialogue. I think it was a really successful one. I enjoyed it. And I think we accomplished and it was really a topic that you think about, but we never really talked about it. Or I've never really talked about it much as a group, and it kind of broadened my mind about it. And that's what it accomplished for me. I think it did that for a lot of people as well. And in closing, I mean, I enjoyed the dialogue. I definitely am glad I did it, and I wish whoever's watching this to have a good day.